Hello.
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 Hello. This is Grace from Hong Kong Science Park, together with our team, Raymond, Jackie, as well as Eros and Tavia as well. Uh, and thank you everyone for joining today's online briefing session. And we will wait for a little bit more before everyone could log into this Zoom meeting. So while we are waiting for the rest of the team members joining today's online briefing session, you are welcome to rename yourself, just like me, from where you are. Who nominated you to join the ideation and hackathon, and then your team name as well as how we could call you. So you could spend a little bit of time to rename yourself because for most of you, it is our first time to meet you online, which we are very excited about this.
Okay, so you want us to change the title of the company and perhaps put our name on there so that you could take a look at it, readily identify ourselves, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay, sounds good.
네,我戴耳机了。嗯。
分開始。分開始。Okay, so let's start today's online briefing session on HKSTP ideation program, as well as we will have the introduction on the finale of Hong Kong Hackathon Plus, the 10th anniversary edition. So congratulations to all of you for getting the chance to get into our ideation program. And some of you have already been invited to join the finale of Hong Kong Hackathon Plus, which will be held in January next year. So today's briefing session, we will be going through some of the key information about the admission to our ideation program and the forthcoming application timeline. And then we will finish our first part by a Q&A section, more focused on the questions you may have in getting the admission to our ideation program. Because I know that after I've sent you all the results announcement email last week, some of you may have quite a lot of questions on what is the meaning of conditional offer to HKSTP ideation program, and what procedures you will need to take in order to get a full admission. So we will go through all these details in our first part, in our first hour of this today's online briefing section. And then for the second part, we will invite the teams that are invited to join the finale program of Hong Kong Hackathon Plus to stay for the second part, in which we will share more about the finale program details, as well as the travel and accommodation arrangement for all the non-local teams, followed by another Q&A section, more focused on the finale program of Hackathon. So for this year's Techathon competition, which is our 10th anniversary edition, and we are very proud to have more 25 global partners for nominating all the very high potential startup teams to take part in this competition, as well as our soft landing ideation program. So hello to everyone, good morning, good afternoon, maybe good evening for some of you. And we have received a record-breaking numbers of startup nominations this year, with more than 250 nominations received by all our global partners. And congratulations to all of you for being admitted to being offered with the conditional offer to the ideation program, which is accounted for. We have 133 teams getting this offer, and we go through all the details in our first part of this briefing session. And then among these 133 teams, we have selected 58 teams as our finalist team to join the Hong Kong Techathon competition in January next year. So now we would like to go into the first part of today's online briefing session. And before we start, I would also like to introduce our HKSTP team, which include myself. I'm Grace, the Senior Manager of University Collaborations, together with my colleague Jackie, who is also the Senior Manager of our team, led by Mr. Raymond Chu, my boss, the Associate Director of University Collaborations and Entrepreneurship. So at the very beginning of this online session, you're welcome to rename your Zoom display name to the partner, the nominating partner, our global partner, for example, NUS or UCSD or NTHU, and then your team name, and then your own name. So for us to identify you more easier, because it is our first time for most of the teams to meet you online, and we look forward to meeting you face to face. For some of you in January, and for all of you, if you're interested to join our ecosystem at Hong Kong Science Park in the coming future. So without further ado, I would like to invite Raymond to start the first part of today's online briefing session with a brief introduction of HKSTP, and then part B to the admission to the ideation program. Raymond, please.
Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon. 下午好. Konnichiwa. Juan Wuhueyo. Bon appetit. I just can learn some of these languages just now to express that these are truly international competition where we have all the teams coming from 14 countries and regions from 5 continents. We are truly proud and happy to see all of you, even now online. So we are very much looking forward for some of you who are going to join in January next year. Well, in the following section, I'm going to slightly introduce about HKSTP Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, so that you get to know more about us. And some of you would have a chance to personally feel and experience about our ecosystem and community here. But still, all of you, if you opt to take up the conditional offer of ideation program, you will become part of our ecosystem and community and part of our family, where we will support our startups in all of you to expand your business, not only in Hong Kong, but in Asia, in the Chinese mainland, and in the world. So I'm going to give you more information about that. So let me go through congratulations. As I mentioned, you are all been selected among all the high quality startups nominated by our global partners. So you're selected ones, and I hope to see you guys in the future in Science Park in Hong Kong. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why Hong Kong, but some of you or most of you know Hong Kong. I just go through very quickly about Hong Kong. But anyway, Hong Kong is a free trade market, capital market where you can easily get funding support through listed market. We are the largest biotech IPO market in Asia, even for pre-revenue biotech companies. So Hong Kong has a lot of advantages, very well structured legal framework, IP protection, 5 top-ranked universities in the world located in Hong Kong, and then to provide a lot of talents and innovations. And a little bit about Science Park. We are the publicly funded incubators and Science Park in Hong Kong, established by Hong Kong government 23 years ago. We have about 22 hectares of land and more than 20 buildings, providing state-of-the-art facilities, office space, and all these kind of infrastructure supports to our startups and technology companies in Science Park. Why Hong Kong? I've already spent a little bit of time on that. And also, as I mentioned, we have 5 university ranked, top ranked in the world, providing talents pipeline, innovation pipelines that can work across with our startups located in Science Park. And our teams has a strong connections and network with universities here and beyond. As I mentioned, we are number 1 in Asia in biotech fundraising for pre-IPO and second in the worldwide, especially for those like some of your startups are also in this field or in this domain, which we have also 2 top-class medical schools in Hong Kong where you can conduct your clinical trials here, which is also recognized worldwide. And I don't repeat all that, like low tax, like no capital gain tax, etc. I just want to highlight one thing that in some of you may have heard the term called Greater Bay Area, which is comprising Hong Kong, Macau, and 9 cities close by in the region. And just recently, World IP organizations ranked the Greater Bay Area, including Hong Kong, as the #1 global innovation hub in the world. That means we are producing a lot of great innovations that expanding to the world. And there's a lot of technology, a lot of talents, a lot of innovations here where you can connect through Science Park. Okay, Science Park, we are not just manage one campus, as you can see here in the map. This is a Hong Kong map. We manage multiple campuses, including 3 other campuses where we provide also manufacturing capability for any startups. Once they complete their R&D and product development, if they opt to do some small to mid-scale production, they can actually set up their production line pretty easily in our one of the 3 sites in Hong Kong, where we can help them to set up the production lines with our state-of-the-art advanced technology in manufacturing and logistics support to ship your products pretty easily. And across the border, we have a branch in Shenzhen where we help our startup to expand to the Chinese mainland, but also we help the Chinese mainland startup to go through Shenzhen to Hong Kong, and then we help them to expand to the world. This is some highlights. We have more than 2,400 of technology companies ranging from small enterprise startups all the way to listed companies and unicorns. We have 13 unicorns in Science Park, where half of them, we nurture them all the way from startup to become unicorn. Another half of them where we be able to attract some global unicorns to set up their R&D and headquarters in Science Park. And we have our investment fund where we can co-invest with private investors, where we have more than 100 investment and investor network, from angel investors all the way to PE VC funds, locally and in the region. Oh, sorry. This is our ecosystem where we are proud of to build that in the last 20 years, we established a very matured ecosystems locally in the region and globally, connecting global universities, where providing pipelines of talents and innovations, corporate partners locally and in the regions, where we can connect our startups to these corporates for potential technology adoptions and product sales, etc., or even product co-creation opportunities. And also more than 1,000 investors, as I mentioned. And also we have a strong connections with some professional organizations, NGOs, or governments, where they're all looking for new innovations and technology. And of course, not to mention the very dynamic startup ecosystem, where we have more than 2,400 companies from that they have different domains of technologies. And we have a very well-structured incubations and acceleration program, starting from the early stage ideation to incubation, and then co-acceleration. And finally, there's a program called Elite, where we help highly selective companies to grow exponentially in the world. And we have along the stages, we provide different level of funding support and also incubation support, including like mentorship, dedicated account manager to look after the startups to take care of their needs, some upskill training programs, like in terms of like pitching, investment pitching, go-to-market strategies, etc. We provide some training platforms where we have some videos of trainings for our startups. We also have a lot of opportunities to take our startups to expand to overseas, to join some overseas exhibitions, etc., like Consumer Electronics Show every year in Las Vegas in January, and many others around the world, to get them exposed to different markets, to showcase the technology to worldwide potential customers and investors. We also have a dedicated program called Booster, where we send our startups to Silicon Valley and China for an extended period of time for them to connect to local business partners and investors. And we, of course, provide a lot of physical infrastructures, as I mentioned, a lot of laboratories, communal facilities, where especially for like life science startups, where you don't need to build up your lab, you just need to rent a bench or our equipments, very expensive equipments, and you can start your business right here. Okay. This is life and health sectors. We have a very strong domains here. We have more than 300 companies under these life and health technology. As I mentioned, we have a very strong connections with local medical schools, where they are top ranked, a lot of talents and technologies. We also have some co-incubation programs with some big farmers like Roche, AstraZeneca, and also Shanghai Pharma, where they can provide support to startups to help them to expedite their research, from research to potential clinical applications. And we also house 26 research centers. They're top ranked in the world. They are set up between Hong Kong universities as well as like worldwide top university in like Berkeley, Cambridge, Oxford, Imperial, etc., Stanford, where they jointly produce a lot of top-class research, and then to spin off their research into startups and then into Science Park, and then we are supporting them to translate their research. And I know that a lot of you have a lot of very interesting and very exciting technology as well. And in Science Park, we are helping also researchers to translate their research into ventures, into startups, and then continue to help them to grow. And this is green and other big sectors. We have more than 200 startups focusing on sustainability, green tech and clean tech, focusing on like new energy, new materials, green buildings, etc. And this is ever growing sectors where Hong Kong government has put a lot of resources and focus on, and there's a lot of resources and policy support that can help any sustainability focused startups to help them to grow here in Hong Kong through Science Park. And as I mentioned, we have investment fund. We have a 1 billion venture fund where we co-invest with more than 1,000 private investors to co-invest in our startups. Well, again, we play hard, work hard. There's a big campus here, a lot of dynamic co-founders, not just from Hong Kong mainland, but also from all over the world. It's just like all of you from different countries and different regions. So part B, I'm going to talk a little bit more about technical thing, which is the admission to the ideation program and the timeline. Some of the startups you may wonder or questions, why ideation program? Maybe some of you, and I know quite a number of you have already been quite matured in your home country. And you may wonder why ideation program. I'm going to explain a little bit further to you. This is the illustration diagram. As I mentioned, we have different incubation programs from the very early stage, ideation, incubation, acceleration, and elite. And as I mentioned, when you joined the first step to Science Park, we joined ideation, but you may have questioned why instead of incubation and acceleration. For ideation, we are using actually these ideation program internally as a soft landing platform. Okay, that means for any overseas startups, when you join Science Park under ideation program, which is a 12-month program, you are soft land under these program, under these platform, where there's a special features where you don't need to physically move or relocate from your home country to Hong Kong within these 12 months. That means as long as you set up a company, a legal entity in Hong Kong with a bank account, all the resources under this program will be made available to you, even though your team, yourself, are still located or remain in their home country. And then you can remotely access or remotely control your Hong Kong entity to conduct like market research, market exploration, looking for local talents to continue to grow and explore your business in Hong Kong without being physically located in Hong Kong for these 12 months. So that makes you a more flexible period of time for you to look into Hong Kong as a market, for you to expand your business here and beyond, be it to the Chinese mainland or Northern Asia or the bigger Asian market. Okay, so but that doesn't mean that if you are ready, for example, if you are truly ready to join incubation or acceleration, where there is a more stringent requirements in terms of your manpower or the year of establishment in your startup, of course, you can opt to bypass or to jump from instead of to ideation, instead to you join incubation or even acceleration, depending on the maturity and the stages of further development and the readiness of your startup in Hong Kong. Okay, but once you settle in Hong Kong through soft landing, assuming that you take up the soft landing under ideation program, these are all the things that you make available to you, the up to 100,000 Hong Kong dollar grant. This is a grant without any like equity component here. Some training, coaching, community support, etc., where we also, our team will support you to look for any potential like business or talents to help you to put your footprint here in Hong Kong. So as I mentioned, this is a soft landing. I have already explained why ideation program, because it provides flexibility for you to soft land. So I won't go into details and repeat that. And this is the admission process and the timeline. From now until the end of January, for all of you, you need to do is, in order to unlock and get into our ideation or soft landing program, you need to establish a Hong Kong entity, a company, as well as a bank account. But most importantly, you need to register a company first, okay? And it is not a very difficult task. And there's different ways. You can simply ask a accountant to do it for you. There's also some of the service providers where you can get access to for you to help you to set up a company in Hong Kong, or you just simply go to some online website by Hong Kong government, some company registry. Actually, it may not be that difficult for you to get a company within just a couple of working days, okay? For bank account, it may take a little bit of time, but still, once you get a company first to get into our science, the ideation program, then you can take times to set up the bank account. And second stage, key milestone is for if you set up your bank account or a company, the ideation program applications. What do we mean by application is that you still need to submit to our system a sort of a application in order to join in our system to lock down your offer of these ideation program. So that will be within February. And in terms of March, our team will do some due diligence with their team to talk with you on certain meetings, certain mandatory requirements of joining the program. And then in April, we can confirm that whether you are formally or in our system, you have confirmed the final admission, and the program, the soft landing program, will start in May. Okay. So this is the sort of a milestone illustration. If the program starts in May, it is a one-year program, as I mentioned. Towards the first milestone will likely be complete in July, where there's some requirements for you to unlock the first milestone payment, where is signing a license agreement, register a bank account, and also review certain training videos. Then it will unlock the first milestone. And the second milestone, it will be around the middle of the period of the 12 months, where where you need to do submit a market validation report, some pitching video, and milestone plan or milestone update report. And it is important for you to demonstrate in this milestone assignment or submission that the market validation shows you a strong readiness and intention of your startup expanding to Hong Kong, Chinese mainland, and Asia through SciencePark. Okay. And then after you pass the second milestone, you will unlock another second milestone payment, which is 40,000 Hong Kong dollars. And finally, towards the end of the soft landing or ideation program, we will help you to connect to the next stage, the incubation program, where you need to go through another assessment, where we have another formal assessment panel to assess you for the qualifications to join the incubation program. Once you satisfactorily get the offer or conditional offer to get into incubation program, you can unlock the final payment of 50,000 Hong Kong dollars under the soft landing or ideation program. Okay, and under the soft landing or ideation programs, we also offer you a co-working space access in Hong Kong at SciencePark, and it is in the town center, which is quite accessible by public transportation. So anytime if you fly to Hong Kong, you want to have a place to work and then meet some people, meet some potential clients, etc., you can get access to all these facilities without cost. Okay. And this is located at the Inno Center in Incubation Center. As I mentioned, it is in the place called Kowloon Tong, which is the downtown, quite convenient with public transport. And this is the co-working space, communal space, and pantries, etc. And it's quite nicely decorated and convenient, and supported by some of our on-site staff. Okay, so this is our all ecosystem support. As I mentioned, our team as well, and also other teams at SciencePark will help you to connect to talents, finding talents, business support, business opportunities, account management, office facilities, and co-working space, etc., etc. This is laboratory service, especially for some of you in maybe under life and health technology or life science. You may need to access to certain facilities or labs. You are more than welcome to do so. Some of them may need to pay a little bit of rent, but you can make use of the funding support to cover all these expenses. And this is the e-learning center. As I mentioned, you can unlock a lot of training videos, etc., which is dedicated, designed for suiting and fitting for our startups. Pitching skills, we have a pitching clinic helping our startups to beef up their pitching skills. And we have some dedicated trainers to help you on that. Mentor supports, we established an online mentoring platform called People Hub. Our ideation teams or our soft landing teams are more than welcome to register later on once you admit into the program to these People Hub, where you can meet a lot of mentors, and then you can match with some mentors for their advice, guidance, or even some business network or connections. And showcase your solutions. As I mentioned, we have another platform called Tech Exchange, where if you have a very good technology or products where you can be readily sell or sell to some potential customers, be it corporates or government, etc. We have this platform. You can upload your solutions or technology or products to these platforms, and then we have a team called partnership teams who help you to connect with some potential buyers, customers, and then you can match you for potential commercializations of your product and technology. Delegations, as I mentioned, showcase your technology all over the world in some exhibitions, big exhibitions, etc. So I won't go into details on that. And then once you get admitted to the program, you can make use of these local core HKSTP partners. It adds a lot of credibility, especially in Hong Kong and regionally, to add your credibilities and also credentials to your startups, where they know that you are part of our family. And a lot of times it helps you to unlock a lot of potential doors to talk to investors or potential business partners. And all these community networking, you can scan the QR code, join we have a meetup program, meetup platforms where we have a lot of online, offline events occurring every week. Some newsletters, a lot of events. If you are able to come to Hong Kong from time to time, you're more than welcome to join these community events, talk to our teams, meeting people, and be our part of family. Okay, this is some of the company setup and bank account opening guideline. I won't go into details. We can send the deck and all these guidelines to you. It showcases some of the guidance where you can help you to go through step by steps in how to set up your company and bank account. Okay, so these are some of the companies or service providers that may be able to help you to set up your companies. You can Google them, you can make a comparison, or you can just maybe make an inquiry to talk to them, and then compare some of them to see which fits you most. Okay. Bank account as well. Some online air wallets is a very big online support service especially for startups, and HSBC as well. Some banks as well. So that's it for me in the sections. I know quite many questions from all of you. I know there's a lot of information just flow into you all at once. So you may have a lot of questions. So we will try to answer the questions that you may have one by one. I know some of them have already.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Raymond's introduction to Hong Kong Science Park as well as the ideation program. And then let's go into the Q&A section of part 1. I see there are quite a lot of questions at the chat box. And for the current Q&A section, we will focus more on answering the questions related to the ideation admission. So let me see. For things about the finale of Hong Kong Techathon, the accommodation, the flights, and we will go through it in the part 2 section. So we will not answer it at currently at this Q&A. So Raymond, there's one question from the team saying that is a little bit confused whether Techathon is in January and then if it is part of the ideation program or a separate activity.
Techathon is, you can say, is a separate activity. It's just add on top of these ideation offer, where some of the team, some of you here were invited by us to come to Hong Kong, to fly to Hong Kong in end January to join these Techathon, which is a competition where you have a chance to get additional some prize money, but and then you can get a chance to personally feel and experience and meet people here, meet us, meet the team, meet our management, meet investors, meet some business partners, potential business partners, mentors, etc., or teams from all over the world, like among all of you, and local teams as well, and to understand how Science Park support the startups, how the ecosystem works, how vibrant and dynamic it is, and hopefully once you get to immerse in that, you understand how we work here, how we support them, and you believe in us being your trusted partner to support your business here. So this is on top of that, but it doesn't mean that the rest of all of you here, you are already one step into our ideation program or our family. As long as you, whether or not you join the Techathon finale in January, as long as you set up your legal entity in Hong Kong with a bank account, you're part of our family. It doesn't matter whether you are being selected to join Techathon or not. Okay, I hope I answered the questions.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. So I see there are a couple of questions from SUSS. Focus to highlight those related to the ideation program. The first one is whether what really means that we have the conditional approval for admission to the ideation program and what it is next. And I guess I would like to go back to the earlier slides that Raymond shared just now about the application timeline of getting the admission to the ideation program. Let me go back to this admission process. So after we have received the nominations from our global partners to the Hong Kong Techathon and ideation program, our side has already done the internal ideation admission panel reviewed for your submission. And for all the team that are invited to join today's briefing sections, you've already get the conditional approval to admit to the ideation program. So all you need to do is to follow these 5 steps in order to get the full admission to the ideation program, which we target to start it in May next year. So this is, let me see. So during this year, should we set up the company in Hong Kong? Yes. For all the global teams, you have to establish a Hong Kong company here in order to join the ideation program. So this will be in the step 2, when you start to go to our online application platform to submit your ideation program application in February, you have to get your Hong Kong company registration done in order to complete the step 2 process. So another question is that whether all the team members should be physically in Hong Kong or we can still work from our own countries.
I think I have just explained that during the first 12 months of ideation or soft landing programs, you are not asked to be physically in Hong Kong. Of course, we welcome you to be in Hong Kong. We welcome you any time to come to Hong Kong or to be located in Hong Kong. It doesn't. I'm not saying that we are not welcoming you to Hong Kong, but then in this program does not require you to move to Hong Kong or to be physically in Hong Kong in the first 12 months. So you can, to answer this question, yes, you can still remain in, let's say, Singapore, SUSS, for example. You can still remain in Singapore, working remotely for the market exploration in Hong Kong, or let's say through us to connect to local university to hire an internship or an intern or part-time to help you to do some business initial market research here in Hong Kong. So I hope I answered your questions.
And then for the financial support, and it will follow these milestones and grants disbursement timeline, in which we will divide the funding into 3 major milestones. After you complete the requirement of each of these milestones, we will transfer the funding to your Hong Kong bank account. So it is important for you to get your company registration done and then the bank account opening done by the end of January, so that you could go through the step 2 to submit your application to the ideation program, and then the program start will be in May next year. So let me see if there are any other questions regarding the ideation program.
The Korean, Steve, right? Steve have questions.
I guess for
Right.
the company establishment, if we work through your agency, what is the estimated cost? So we don't actually sign any partnership agreement with any of the service providers for company setup and bank account opening. And what Raymond just shared in the slides here are just some of the local or some of the company secretariat service providers that offer some services that our Hong Kong, some of our startup have been using in the past, which they find it quite useful, or they could quite helpful in helping them in registering the company. So we put up all these resources for all your reference. So you are always welcome to Google them to check them out, or to contact them for further discussing your plan or your requirement for setting up the companies here. And yeah, or you could always use the service providers outside this list as well.
So they are not our agents, to be precise. There are some of the service providers in the market where we see that they can support you, but you should do your own due diligence. You should do your own homework to check with them and to talk to them to see what they can support you, what they can help you, and the course, etc. So at the end of the day, it's your own decisions to choose which one that if you think that fits you most.
And then Raymond, there is a questions about does ideation overlap with other programs in HKSTP? And then whether for the milestone submission, do they need to submit the R&D data or revenue?
Well, overlap with other programs. Well, I mean, as you can see in the slides, the programs in terms of ideation, incubation, acceleration, they don't overlap with each other. So it's on a stage by stage programs where it's like first ideation, secondly incubation, and then acceleration, and then finally lead. So there's no overlap in terms of such incubation and accelerations programs. But if we, in general, talks about more bigger pictures under HKSTP, we may have some other programs. For example, we may have some training programs, put it this way, where we are open it for our ideation teams or incubation teams. So those programs basically are service support to our startups under ideation program. So with that those may overlap. So overlap means we don't have overlapping funding programs, but we may have other programs or services where we can offer support, provide more value-added services and support to our startups under ideation or other funding programs. Okay, and in terms of milestones, Q3 milestone needs R&D data, revenue. Under ideation programs, we don't necessarily need to ask for any revenue. R&D data, I'm not sure whether you mean what you mean about R&D data. In terms of market validations, we are looking for market data. We are asking the teams to conduct market research in terms of like conducting interviews or conducting survey, etc., to understand the market that your products or technology are targeting, to see whether there's actually a market for your product or technology. So those are the marketing data or market research data that we are looking for in the second milestone. But of course, it depends on your business. If your business are doing selling data or selling R&D data or whatsoever, and then during the final milestone, the third milestone where you need to present to another panel for incubation, advancing to incubation, then you may need to have some of those data, I guess, but we're not looking for any R&D data or revenue at that. But of course, if you have revenue, it's always good, showing that you are more mature. Okay.
And then adding to Raymond's feedback on these questions, when you submit your milestone plan to the ideation program, you may need to include the R&D development covering your technology development plan in the next 1 year or 12 months during the ideation program. And then you also need to provide the business development plan, where you may include your business model and then your targeted customer in the next 12 months. And then for all the global teams, you may also need to include your plan in exploring the business opportunity or exploring the markets in Hong Kong or through Hong Kong to the GBA or other international market. So you should outline all these milestone plan at the beginning of getting into the ideation program. And then at the second milestone review or your second milestone submission on your market validation report, as well as the pitching video, we will further evaluate your progress based on the milestone set at the beginning of your ideation submission. So I hope this answers your questions. And the next one is from Nicole. Is it an issue if our startup solution has pivoted since we last pitched at the program partner that referred to us to HKSTP?
Well, I'm not entirely sure what do you mean by that, but as long as you have not joined HKSTP program or any ideation or incubation program, and you are a new startup to our ecosystem or community, it doesn't matter whether your solutions has been pivoted once, twice, third time, multiple times, as long as you are finding a good formula.
I guess Nicole's question is that at the time they submit the pitching video at the beginning of joining the HKUST 1 million competition, they may have already pivoted the project since then. So when they join the upcoming competition or ideation program, they're not using exactly the same startup solution. I guess this is what Nicole means.
I see. Okay. In that case, well, we have not we don't have a sort of a rules or whatsoever about not pivoting. Actually, we encourage teams. Actually, even they pass the admission criteria and join ideation. If at the end during the period of time they conduct market validation and then they find that they need to pivot to another market or pivot to another sort of segment, then we encourage them to do so. So there's nothing about like you cannot pivot. But in this scenario or under this context, if you say that you joined the 1 million competitions before with a project A, for example, and then get admitted to the program, and now you say that, okay, I'm trying to use project B to join the competition, to join Hackathon and ideation program. I think it depends on how relevant the project A and project B. Let's say if you submit a project A focusing on AI software, for example, and then get admitted, then you change completely to a project B where you're saying, I'm going to develop a drug. Then it's a completely different project. Then in that scenario, I guess you probably have to explain why, because it is totally irrelevant. So I guess it depends on how you present why pivot, right? Instead of completely change to another project.
So we still have a long list of questions.
Yeah, I know.
So the next one is the team has got admitted to Cyberport's CIP program, whether there's any conflict to admitting to the HKSTP program.
There is, I can say, well, unfortunately, once you get into, if you just got to a CIP program by Cyberport, that means you cannot double dip. Okay, so it means that you either choose Cyberport or either choose SciencePark with one single startups. If you have two startups, of course, you can choose like, okay, one in Cyberport and one in SciencePark, maybe. But if it is a one single startups, you can only choose either one of them.
But if you're invited to join the Hong Kong Hackathon competition, you're still welcome to join.
Yeah.
And the next one is, could you please clarify whether any specific quantitative or qualitative startup results are required at the ideation stage?
Quantitative and qualitative startup results and required. I mean, at the end of the day, as you saw from our requirements along the ideation period, mostly we are looking for whether you have conducted a good market validations of your products or your technology, and under that, you need to produce a good quantitative and qualitative report illustrating how you do the validations, how you validate that there's a market here, or there isn't a market here, and that's why you need to pivot. So those include some quantitative market research data, some qualitative explanations. I'm not sure what the startup results mean. Like we were looking for market validations. If it's a startup results, that means it relates to your business. So if your business, you have some quantitative things like, you have already like sell to how many customers, or how big is your potential markets like Samsung. That's quantitative sort of numbers or figures where to help you to explain your business or your market, or some qualitative thing in terms of like teams, etc., business model, then those are for your own business. Okay.
So I think it is quite difficult to make a general comment over your question right now. But for all the milestone plan or the market validation report, our ideation operation would be sending over to the admitted team for all the templates you need for your reference. So you could take reference to all these templates in order to compile one for your submission.
Okay. Next question. Whether we will take any equities out of finding clients and closing the deals. The answer is no. We can help you to find clients as much as possible, as much as we can, but we don't charge you any equity. Okay.
So what is the due diligence meeting about?
It's all checking some requirements, some documentations, whether you are actually the founders, and also like as I mentioned, like some documentation, some mandatory requirements, etc., to satisfy the criteria in joining the program. So the company registration date and bank opening up be both after the date of ideation announcement at December. No, I guess, but there's a requirement where the company set up or the legal entity by joining the ideation program should be within 2 years of the application date, or is it the application date?
Yes.
The 2 years, right?
It's 2 years by the time of your application.
Right.
So you could start to prepare to do the company registration and bank account opening.
Yeah, but I guess what Dr. Ju mentioned, perhaps you already have a company or bank account.
I guess it's the 8th of December that I send out the announcement email.
Okay. All right. Is this program primarily for early stage startup? Is it applicable for 3 years old startups? The question, the answer is yes. No. The program, depends. The program is, we have very diverse startups under ideation program. Some of them very early stage, some of them pretty mature. And as I mentioned, especially for overseas teams, when they come to Hong Kong, they may want to have a little bit more time to explore. That's why we use ideation program as a soft landing. So some of the startups, especially those from overseas, they are pretty matured and maybe more than 3 years old. But if you set up a legal entity in Hong Kong, then you probably will be able to fulfill like less than 2 years criteria of the company in Hong Kong, right? So next, if we got 100,000 award, is there any rules or limitations to spend the budgets? The answer is no. We don't set any rules or regulations on how you spend the budgets. Because we trust you that you will spend the budget wisely on your projects or on your startups. Could you give a few examples of the milestone? The milestone, as I mentioned, the first milestone is like you sign the license agreement, go through some of the training videos, opening and bank account. Then you unlock the first milestone payments, and then the 10,000 Hong Kong dollars will be paid to your.
And then for the rest, like the pitching video, what shall I include in the pitching video and the market validation report? Our ideation operation will be providing all the template you need.
Exactly.
Before your submission, so you can take reference from the template and prepare your own one.
Okay. What does the signed license one entail for the discussion round? Well, it's all like very straightforward legal documents like well, when you go to that stage, we will certainly give you like the agreement for you to go through. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. Okay. If we got accepted to ideation program, in what consists the license agreement we need to sign? Will there be any? Oh, okay. As I answered, we as time goes by, well, as time came, so we will send you the license agreement template for you to review. There's no IP transfer to us. We don't take any IP. The IP will always belongs to you. Okay.
And then all the important announcement from ideation or regarding the ideation program would be sent to you by email, not through WeChat or WhatsApp. So we will do it by email officially.
Right. But once you for this cohort in particular, once you get into ideation program, we may set up a WhatsApp account or a WhatsApp group for easier communications. Okay. We are a little bit confused. We plan to come to Hong Kong in January, but to be able to come with you, to set up a Hong Kong bank account. Well, you don't need to set up a bank account or company in order for you to come to Hong Kong. There's a totally separate things, okay? So you can come to Hong Kong first, and then you can decide to set up your company and bank account. And along the way, as I mentioned, in January, we will have some service providers as well on site to explain to you how you can set up your company and bank account in Hong Kong. All right.
And for the questions from JK, for getting the introductions to the potential client or public agency, I guess Raymond has just shared about all the ecosystem supports that Science Park offer to the startups, for all the startups, both locally or local startup or global startups. So we will share the information to you for your reference, and you could let us know which kind of support specifically you would like to be joining in, and we will provide assistance to you. So I guess that is the end of the part one, and we are a bit running out of time. And for the rest of the questions, I would have our colleagues Eros to capture the questions that we haven't answered regarding the ideation program, and we would hope to capture all these questions and answers at the FAQ sections provided to you after this briefing section. If you have any further inquiry regarding the ideation program, you are always welcome to contact our HKSTP team, myself, Eros, Jackie, and Raymond for further assistance. So in the interest of time, let's move to the next part of today's briefing session regarding the finale program of Hong Kong Techathon Plus. So for the second part of this briefing session would be relevant to the 58 teams that are invited to join the finale of Hong Kong Techathon in January next year. So probably you've already received the official results announcement from me sent to you last week, whether you are invited to join the Hong Kong Techathon competition. So because as you could see just now, we've received a record-breaking numbers of startup nominations this year. And due to our resource limitation, we are unable to offer everybody to receive the travel subsidies to come to Hong Kong, because our venues have the capacity limit, our financial resources are limited, so we could only pick around 60 global teams to further get the invitation to the Hong Kong Techathon. However, for all the teams that get the conditional offer to ideation program, we very much look forward to having you join us at our ecosystem. So let's start the second part of today's briefing session. And as I mentioned just now, we would have 58 non-local team joining the finale of Hong Kong Techathon Plus to be held in January next year. All these teams are coming from our global partners captured in these slides. So for those who will be flying to Hong Kong in January, you will be able to meet with all these teams coming from different parts of the world. As here are the countries and regions that capture where our non-local teams are from. So we very much look forward to meet each of you face to face at Hong Kong Science Park next month. So in the next 50 to 20 minutes, I will go over the brief introduction of Hong Kong Techathon Plus. And this is a flagship entrepreneurship competition that we first start in 2015. And we'll also go over the judging criteria of this competition and the awards that the winning teams will be getting after if you win this competition. And then by coming to join the Hong Kong Techathon Plus, we also arrange a series of immersion program together with the competition. And I will share a little bit about what are included in these finale programs. And then I see there are quite a lot of questions checking out the travel subsidy as well as the accommodation arrangement. And I will go over all these details in a moment. And then if you have any questions regarding the Hong Kong Techathon, you could always put all the questions at the chat box, and we will have the Q&A section by the end of today's briefing session. So what is Hong Kong Techathon Plus? This is a flagship annual cross-universities entrepreneurship competition that we first started in 2015, 10 years ago. And Raymond sitting next to me here is actually the co-founder of Hong Kong Techathon Plus. That he first started it. He is the co-founder, and it's great that he still work on this Hong Kong Techathon Plus after 10 years. And over these years, we have accumulated more than 7,000 students, alumni, local and overseas startups taking part in this wonderful and fun-filling entrepreneurship competition. So for this, these are all the collaborators of the Hong Kong Techathon competition. Hong Kong Science Park co-organized this competition together with 15 local universities and institutions in Hong Kong. And then on the right-hand side, I'll capture all our global partners that are nominating their best startups to join these competitions. And then we have AWS as our tech enabler, and they will also be offering some cloud credits to all the winning teams under this competition. I'll share a little bit more later on. And then our Techathon is supported by Invest Hong Kong. And for many of the global team, for all of you that are looking to exploring the Hong Kong market or through Hong Kong to the GBA or other international markets, Invest Hong Kong will be providing all the assistance you require for setting up your business in Hong Kong. For the Hong Kong Techathon competition, and since 2024, we have expanded this local competition to countries and regions outside Hong Kong. So after like 2 years of effort, we have expanded this competition to almost a worldwide entrepreneurship competition covering all these countries and regions. And for the 10th anniversary edition of Hackathon to be held in next month, we are glad to have include or invited our global partners to nominate the teams from London, Japan, and South Korea coming to join us in this international competition. So for the past years that we have expanded this competition to regions and countries outside Hong Kong, we have successfully soft landed more than 30 global teams who have admitted to our ideation program that Raymond just shared in the previous hour of in this competition. So we would like to position Hong Kong Hackathon Plus as more than a competition. It would be a good opportunities for global startup to start to use this competition and the opportunities to explore whether Hong Kong would be a new market for you, and to help you plan for your market expansions to Hong Kong or through Hong Kong to the GBA or to the mainland market. So we would be offering all the support required for the global teams to set up in Hong Kong. So for the Hong Kong Hackathon competition this year, we have 4 thematic tracks covering the life science and healthcare, sustainability and ESG, trusted AI and data science, as well as the digital economy and smart city. And here outlines the judging criteria of the competition, which is quite similar to all the usual entrepreneurship competition outside. So you should all be very familiar with these similar judging criteria. It covers the innovativeness and technology content, the commercial feasibility, as well as the team capability and the social and community impacts. So when you are going to prepare your pitch deck for the competition, make sure you include all these contents in your pitch deck. And for all the teams joining the finale of Hong Kong Hackathon, the competition, each team will be given a 3-minute pitching time slot, followed by a 4-minute Q&A section on the last day of the finale. So you are also welcome to use a comfortable language for your presentation, including English, Mandarin, or Cantonese. And for during the finale of Hong Kong Hackathon Plus, as I mentioned just now, we have 58 non-local teams. On top of this, you will also be able to meet with more than 120 local teams under the 4 thematic tracks and the Tech FYP group. So the finale would be very huge. You'll be meeting almost 300 to 400 people in the hall to joining this Hackathon competition. For the awards, the global teams will be competing in 2 tracks. So each track will be competing for 2 sets of the prizes, including that means for all the 58 teams, there will be 2 gold winning teams 2 silver winning teams, 2 bronze winning teams, as well as 4 Merit Awards under this competition. And other than the cash award captured in the slides just now, AWS as our tech enabler would also be offering the cloud credit support of up to $25K US for all the winning teams under this Techathon competition. Next, I'll go over to have an introduction on the finale program of Techathon. Before that, I would like to play a video that captures the finale of the 2025, the 9th edition of Techathon. Please enjoy. Okay, so here is the finale programs of Hong Kong Techathon, including 2 parts. The first part will be the ecosystem experience, and the second part will be the competition part. So for all the global teams, you are expected to arrive to Hong Kong on the 20th of January, a Tuesday, to do the accommodation check-in. I will share more about the accommodation that we have arranged for the teams later on. And then after you settle in to the hotel and accommodation, and on the day 0, the actual ecosystem experience, our immersion program will start on the 21st of January, day 1, the day 1 immersion program. And the day 1 immersion program will include the Hong Kong ecosystem experience, the ecosystem tour, and then in the afternoon we will arrange it. We will hopefully arrange each of the teams to meet with our investor. So the afternoon we go for the investor matching. And then in the evening, we have arranged the opening and welcome dinner for both local and overseas finalist team at our biggest venue at Hong Kong Science Park campus, at the convention hall. So on the second day of the immersion program, which is the 22nd of January, we will split the whole group. Or for all the global teams, you could choose to stay in Hong Kong for another ecosystem tour and then startup networking section, or alternatively, you could choose to join our China ecosystem tour. So we will split the group into 2. One group will be staying in Hong Kong, and then another group will be heading for a day trip in China. So this completes the ecosystem experience, the first 2 days. And then for day 3 and day 4 would be the competition part, where in the morning you all the team would join the mentor consultation, and the team would be having the opportunity to join our mock pitching sections to get prepared to go to the final judging on the last day of the finale. And then, as Raymond mentioned, in order to prepare for the ideation admission, each of you would need to register a Hong Kong company and then a Hong Kong bank account. And on day 3, we have invited all the service partners in our network to come on site and meet with the teams. If you would need their support, you could talk to them and get your company registration or bank account setup done on that day. So on day 4, the last day of the finale, that will be the competition part, in which in the morning there will be final judging section, that each of the teams will be given a 3-minute presentation time in front of the panel of judges, and then followed by a 4-minute Q&A section. After that, in the afternoon, we will do the awards presentation ceremony, followed by a post-finale networking party in the evening. So on the last day, day 5, that will be the departure. All the teams will need to do the accommodation checkout, and then we need to say goodbye to you physically, but then we would continue to provide assistance to you on the ideation and soft landing admission. So that outlines all the finale program of the Hong Kong Techathon. So for the whole finale program and the immersion program, our major venue will be at Hong Kong Science Park, our biggest campus under our management. And there is an iconic building, the Golden Egg. So this is the map, shows the location of Hong Kong Science Park. Here are a slide that outlines the more program details of the whole finale program. I will not go over these in very detailed at the online briefing section, but I could share this with all of you afterwards for your reference. We are still finalizing the programs, so there will be potential changes by the time you arrive to Hong Kong, but we will keep you posted. So next, I share more about the key information on the travel subsidy and the accommodation arrangement for all the global teams. So arrival to Hong Kong on the 20th of January. So we expect you to arrive to Hong Kong before 3 p.m. because our accommodation opens for all the teams to do the check-in after 3 p.m. So you could start to look for the flight ticket to Hong Kong. And you are advised to go ahead with the flight booking from your local travel agent. So in my email announcement, I also captured the travel subsidies. I will share a little bit more later on. For the amount of subsidy is for up to 2 team members per team. And then for all the teams that are invited to come to the finale, the accommodation is free during the whole period of Techathon. For point 5, all the participants will need to check for any visa requirement before visiting Hong Kong. If there is any cost incurred in applying for the visa, that will be borne by the participant without any reimbursement by the event organizer, by us. However, we are happy we would be able to offer any letter of confirmation to your participation to Hong Kong Techathon to support your visa or leave application. If you need this letter of confirmation, please contact our secretary office by email and could prepare this for you. Regarding the travel subsidy, that will be up to 2 team members per team. And the amount captured here are the amount for one person for each team member. So for that will be 8,000 Hong Kong dollar per person for if you are traveling for more than 6 hours. And then 2,500 Hong Kong dollar per person if your flight time would be less than 6 hours. And for those that will be taking the ground transportation to Hong Kong, for example, the train, bus, or ferry, we will be able to provide a travel subsidy of 800 Hong Kong dollar per person. So for this amount, it will be the actual expenses that you would need to purchase or flights or whatever tickets you need to come to Hong Kong, or the amount captured here are the maximum amount of travel subsidies. And then the second point is that for the travel subsidy is based on where the global partner is based at and the actual cost of arranging your flights and transportation to Hong Kong. And for the travel subsidy, we will do it on reimbursement basis on the last day of the finale, which will be on the 24th of January. After the final pitching and after the awards presentation ceremony at Hong Kong Science Park. And the travel subsidy will be reimbursed in cash in Hong Kong dollar by providing the proof of expenditure, for example, the flight e-ticket or the receipt of your payment. The point 5 is the event organizer, the HKSTP, reserved our rights for all the reimbursement requests. And if the participant fail to provide any required document or fail to comply with the rules of participating the finale program captured in the contestants handbook, HKSTP and the event organizers would have the final decision right to disallow any reimbursement requests. Regarding the accommodation for all the global teams, we have reserved 2 accommodation venues, including the Courtyard Hong Kong Sha Tin Marriott in Sha Tin, and then another one is just nearby our Hong Kong Science Park campus, the InnoCell, and the address is captured here. And for all the sponsor individuals, you are eligible to have a 5-night free stay for at one of the following locations, and the room will be 1 twin sharing room per team. And the second point is that the event organizer will handle all the room arrangement for the individuals on same gender, same university or region. And we will inform the location of your stay at the local contestant handbook to be sent to you in January. So for the accommodation, the check-in date and time and the check will be on the 20th of January at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the checkout date and time will be on the 25th of January, the Sunday, at 11 o'clock. So we are still preparing and finalizing the non-local contestants handbook, and we expect to send over the report to you in the 5th of January by email. And we will include, we will get informed of your accommodation and all the transportation option for you to get to places during your participation to Hong Kong Techathon. So this comes to my final part of my sharing, which capture some of the important days for your next session. So right now, and to the end of December, you could start to reserve your flight ticket to Hong Kong based on the timeline provided to you. And for the two, we will be offering two sponsor quota for team. And then we have also prepared a RSVP form for you to confirm the information of the two sponsor members. And then you will also need to provide some team information that introduce your startup or some photos that we will need to prepare to invite the investor in for the investor matching on the first day of the immersion program. And then since some of the programs, for example, the China Ecosystem Tour, we do have limited quota for this activity. So in the RSVP form, you will also need to indicate whether you would like to join some of the immersion activities, which are on first come first serve basis. So you will need to complete this RSVP form to us before Christmas on the 20th of December. And then the next milestone is about our Techathon portal. After you confirm your participation to the Techathon finale, we will be sending out a Techathon portal email to you. And then you will need to do some verification to the portal account. Because we use these Techathon portal to capture your arrival and departure information, as well as the pitch deck that you will be sending to us for the final pitching. So you have each the team would need to have the portal account in order to submit your flight details that we will need to do the reimbursement. And then we will need to receive the pitch deck from you through the portal. So the end on the 31st, the end of this year, you will need to complete your purchase of flight ticket. Then you will need to input all the flight arrival and departure information, as well as the receipt of payment on this Techathon portal by the end of this year. And then we will get the non-local contestants handbook ready with the accommodation information and all the information you need ready in this handbook, and we'll send over to you in the second week of January. And then we will look forward to seeing you face to face during the finale of Hong Kong Techathon in the 20th to 24th of January next year. So these are the important days that you will need to be aware of. So the next action you will need to take is to complete the RSVP form by the 20th of December to confirm your participation to the Hong Kong Techathon. And then the second one is to register to pick which immersion activities you would like to join in the week of finale. And then you will also need to provide some key information of your startup in order for us to arrange the one-on-one investor matching. So on the right-hand side, that capture the team information that for last year's team, and that we will need this to further invite the investors that may be interested in meeting you face to face. So for all the global teams that would be flying over to Hong Kong, you need to make sure you have the valid visa traveling to Hong Kong. If you would like to go for the mainland tour on the second day of the immersion program, you will need to make sure whether you will need to apply for additional visa to enter to mainland China. So this is the sample, the screen cap of the portal email that you'll be receiving in the week of the 22nd of December after you confirm your participation to the finale. So you will need to click to verify your identity and account. And then after you have all the flight details and the receipts of your purchase on the flight ticket, you will need to log into this portal account and upload all this information online. So these are all the information I would like to share with you regarding the finale of Hong Kong Techathon. If you have any inquiries, please feel free to reach out to the secretariats from HKSTP. These are all the email you could reach out to. And since I may not be able to reply to all the inquiries very promptly due to the amount of all the emails I have, I would also have Eros, my colleagues, to assist. So you could always reach out to us, Eros and myself, if you have any inquiry regarding the Techathon. So let's move on to the Q&A section of the second part of today's briefing session, and let's see if there's any questions I could share more information with you.
I'm trying to answer by typing some of them. Or maybe from the bottom first. Is it possible to change sponsored member information after December 20? For example, if one of the sponsored member cannot attend, is it possible to replace them after December 20?
I guess after you fill in the RSVP form for confirming the participation to finale, we will need to stick to what you have submitted to us for the participation for the members list, because we will need to use these details to arrange the accommodation for each of you. So you are not recommended to change the team member after you reply the RSVP form.
Yeah, well, make sure that you think carefully about who are going to be able to join the finale, and come to Hong Kong before you reply before December 20. The question on ground transportations between home, I guess you mentioned about like hotel, between hotel and airport, etc. The answer is no. You need to bear such ground transportations yourself. But as long as within the immersion program, which Grace has already been presented to you, those transportation arrangements will be covered by ourselves. What's the cost of accommodations in case we need to book another room for another team member? You mean, I guess, if you want to have an extra team member, perhaps. Well, the cost of accommodations, well, first of all, we cannot say right now whether at the same hotel there would be extra rooms available for your additional team member. Because we don't own the hotel, we don't run the hotel, we just partner with them. We have reserved some hotel rooms for those members that confirm to come. But if you have any additional members wanting to come at your own cost of flight tickets and accommodations, what we can only do is we can try to contact the hotel operator to see whether there could potentially some extra room during that period. And how much?
Maybe I could supplement a little bit more on this. At the RSVP form, you could let us know whether you have the third team members that may be coming to join the finale in self-finance basis. In case you say yes, you fill in the third member's information, we could further check with the hotel or accommodation whether there will be an extra room for your team member. But all the hotel reservation and payment will be done by your side directly to the service provider, for example, the hotel. So you could let us know at the RSVP form first. I pretty much got lost in the chat all these questions in the chat box. So I may go from the beginning. There is some questions asking the amount listed here, a total of 2 travelers. No, it is per individual, per person. If there are more than 2 founders to attend the finale, can they? Yes, you could let us know your intention to have the third member, and you could let us know through replying to the RSVP form. We could further discuss and confirm. For the subsidies reimbursement, as I just mentioned, it will be in cash on the last day of the finale by after the awards presentation ceremony at Hong Kong Science Park. For the competition guidelines, the pitching time, I guess I've already go over these in my sharing just now. I'm not going to repeat. Are there any questions? For the flight's arrival time, I guess I have captured all this information in my earlier slides. Any new questions any one of you identified?
There are questions actually. Two hotel. The final I just got from the bottom. It's better to go from the bottom up.
Maybe for some of you, if you have any questions that we haven't covered, you could unmute yourself and ask right now.
Well, maybe I just go through from the bottom. I think it's easier because from the middle it is difficult to see which. Can we go back on 24th instead of 25th? Yes. The finale will end around the late afternoon of 24th. If you need to go back earlier in the evening of 24th. Well, of course, I guess you want to wait for the final results of the Techathon before you leave. Then, of course, it would end around late 24th. Do we have a person in charge from Hong Kong that guides us from airport to hotel? The answer is no, but Hong Kong is a very convenient city. A lot of good signage. You just pick the white transportations. There's a lot humorous transportations, be it subway, bus, etc. whatsoever. We can also send you. We have a guide later on for you to indicate how you can get from airport to hotel. Okay.
I see there is a question asking if the team could arrive after the 21st. That means the team could not join some parts of the immersion or finale programs.
We strongly advise you to join all of them because it's especially designed for the teams coming from outside Hong Kong to have a better understanding in person, to experience that, so that you get to know, like as I mentioned, like the science part, how we support startups, like the whole ecosystem, meeting people, meeting investors, etc. So we strongly advise you or recommend you to join all of them. Of course, if you really have a very important, let's say, meetings, let's say if you have already confirmed a meeting with an investor or a business partner in Hong Kong during that period of time, of course, we don't stop the way. You just let us know when you need to excuse yourself to join a very important meeting in Hong Kong, then of course it's fine. Okay. Well, I mean, perhaps some of you may be a little bit confused on whether it's like you get admission to ideation. All the teams here have got the conditional offer to ideation program. You need to read through carefully the email notice to you whether you have additional invitation to be the finale of Techathon. If you have, then you will be part of the if you confirm to come to Hong Kong, then you will become like part of the participants of the Techathon finale. So you need to read carefully on your email notice. There's a very clearly indicated whether you got the ideation conditional offer only or ideation conditional offer and the invitation to participate in the Techathon finale. So you need to check yourself carefully because it has been written explicitly and clearly in the email notice sent to you. Okay. And can we go back on 24th? Oh, I have answered that question.
And there is one question asking, can the pitch deck be resubmitted again before the competition, or we have to use the one submitted earlier?
You just can submit. I think we have a deadline by 20.
And that's why we would set up your account through our Techathon portal, where you could submit your latest pitch deck for the final pitching session on the last day of the finale. Yes, right. So you can resubmit your pitch deck.
You can still improve it now, between now and the final submission date. Okay.
I guess that's it for
There's
all the questions we have. We have
a lot of questions.
我機票我問咗兩次啊，Cat D 準備要問咗兩次。
不如你問， 我聽
Why
睇。
two hotels? Why it has two hotels? Because we cannot accommodate all of them within one hotel.
同埋好似冇走。
But you cannot choose because based on we have too many participants, so it would be our arrangements in terms of who is going to reside in which hotel. But the two hotels they are all very nicely decorated, pretty close to Science Park, and we will certainly arrange we have some transportation support to on that. Which one? Okay, move that. I think as they M8, you want to ask the questions. You can unmute yourself to ask questions if you want to. I know you asked you have questions on whether you can bring your partners or spouse, right?
Hello. Yes, thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful presentation. Really excited to join you guys in Hong Kong and meet you properly as well. Yeah, my co-founder's curious about whether he's allowed to bring his partner along with his own money, because obviously Hong Kong's such a reputable city. Would love to turn it into an opportunity for them to see it as well. Is that possible?
Well, I guess first of all, I mean, first of all, the principle is it must be at your own cost in terms of the flight ticket and the accommodation. Okay, this is the number one principle.
Absolutely.
You can bring your spouse or partners to Hong Kong during that period of time. And then whether or not the same hotel would be able to accommodate the spouse or partners, it depends on whether there is any extra room. Okay, we may not be able to partner we put your team member and his or her spouse or partner into the same room because it is not within our arrangement. Okay, so it has to be on a separate room at their own cost. Okay,
that sounds that sounds very reasonable.
Another thing is the partner and the spouse may not be able to join our immersion program. Because we decided more specifically for the teams joining the Techathon and the ideation programs. But then, of course, he or she are welcome to come and walk around and visit Science Park as our guests, seeing around the facilities or seeing around at his or her own time, or just doing some shopping or sightseeing in Hong Kong at his or her own time. But we may not be able to include him or her into our immersion.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for answering that. That will make sense. We'll just keep it entirely at his own cost. Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of that final confirmation and that RSVP form, I submitted and was nominated through Warwick University, and when we did submit, we weren't asked to specify our team members. So is it that RSVP form that will let us specify and confirm the details then of the two founders who will be attending?
Yes, we will send out the RSVP form to you after the briefing session today, and you need to specify which team members would be getting the two sponsored quota of your team to come to receive the travel subsidy to join the Hong Kong Techathon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Grace.
I see that there's a question from Eddie. He's saying that his flight leaving Hong Kong is on 25th of January, while our last day of the event is 24th of January. So is it okay for them to reimburse this flight ticket?
Yes, yes, as I mentioned just now, we would expect the departure of all the global teams will be on the 25th of January. So you could stay in one more evening after the post-finale party before you fly off to Hong Kong.
And what about the Korean team? They just asked if they want to stay one additional day. How about this flight ticket?
And that will be for the accommodation. That will be at your own cost. That will be at the own cost for those that will stay behind after the finale program, and it will be also subject to the availability of the hotel.
Yeah. So I guess you have to check yourself once, perhaps, well, for example, if we will inform you later on which hotel that you are going to reside, and then you may check with that hotel to see whether there's an availability for any extra nights where you want to stay beyond 25th and then at your own cost. Otherwise, you may need to book another hotel, if maybe nearby, if you want to continue your stay here in Hong Kong.
張機票
Well, for any flight tickets, if you want to stay beyond 25th, anyway, everything remains the same. The upper limit for the subsidies will are already explained in the slides and also in the email notice. So you won't get any extra subsidies or supports if you opt to stay further. And I think some questions also talks about like some teams coming from different countries among the same team, different team members, two team members coming from different countries, and then whether can remaining budget to subsidize to cover the difference. Anyway, if the subsidies just remains the same if it is a long haul flight for both. Well, it depends on it is written, actually, a lot of things are actually written in the email notice, okay? And it depends on the location of your startup, all right? So if your two co-founders or your team members, if you come from even from different countries, it depends on the subsidies.
And I want to add to one point is that the amount of travel subsidy is based on where the global partners is based at, together with the actual cost of arranging your flights and transportation to Hong Kong. That means that if you, our global partners, you're nominating through like a university from Singapore, for example, we would be giving out the travel subsidy of 2,500 Hong Kong dollar per person to support you, the team, for up to 2 team members to buy the ticket to Hong Kong, whether you would be coming out from Singapore or you come from like the US or come from Australia, but we would confirm the amount of subsidy based on where the global partners is based at.
We get the presentation material. Yes, I think we can send the back to you later on.
Yes. I guess in the interest of time, this comes to the end of today's online briefing section. And Eros and I would also be capturing all the questions at the chat box for the whole briefing section. And we would add all our answers to your questions. If you haven't covered in our slides or in our Q&A session, we will add that to the FAQ part and send over to you after today's online briefing session. So if you have any further questions after you read all this material, you are always welcome to reach out to the Secretariat Office of Hong Kong TechCathon for more information. So that's it for today's briefing section, and we hope you've been able to receive the the information you need. And we look forward to meeting all of you in Hong Kong next month, and have our best wishes to your Christmas. And we'll see you next month in Hong Kong. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.